Hi guys, it's Lonely Fanboy 48 here, and this is gonna be a follow-up video to my Princess and Human Twilight rant, the video that I made last month ago. Now, as we got a few info from Legend of Everfree or something, and as far as I'm concerned, the information I saw, I was kind of disappointed that there's no Princess Twilight info that she's gonna be in this movie or not. Now, before I get into new topics on the upcoming movie and more topics about Twilight and Human Twilight, I should talk about the rant that I made. To be quite honest, I didn't expect this to be actually really good. In fact, I only made this because I was new at the time and I actually liked Equestria Girls last month before I made this video. Secondly, I made this video because I watched all three of the Equestria Girls movies, and I'm really excited of what they're gonna do in the fourth one because of the ending of Friendship Games. I honestly cannot believe that I did a good job by getting this many views. Even with the way that I just record stuff on my TV, it's just unbelievable. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why am I doing this stuff instead of talking about Equestria Girls? Well, first of all, there's something I need to address. You see, I only watched the Equestria Girls movies before I watched the My Little Pony show. You see, I didn't have much of an interest in ponies whatsoever. Not against anyone who loves them so much. I just didn't care about them at first. You see, I watch an Animax review. In case you don't know, it's Electric Dragon 505, whose name is Animax, and I saw his review about Equestria Girls. Now, I did saw his review when it got released in early 2015, but I didn't have interest in My Little Pony. But at the end of April, when I saw his review again, I think I should be interested since there was two sequels, Rainbow Rocks and Friendship Games. The first Equestria Girls movie that I saw, not from beginning to end, I saw bits and pieces with it, was Friendship Games. Because the reason why I got into this is because of how the gimmick to have ponies be in the pony world is kind of cool. And despite the fact that it's kind of, when they did the cliched stuff in the first movie, at least this movie, when they do the friendship game format, it looks kind of interesting. Now, you're probably wondering, when I got into the real episodes of My Little Pony. Well, I did watch the first two movies first, and the third one, I watched it when I got it on my birthday, the third one. And I did watch more My Little Ponies episodes when I was done watching those, and I got interested with the show a little bit, but I don't watch almost all the shows. And secondly, when I made the rant a month ago, I was new at the time. I didn't see the 5th season finale yet. Now I'm talking about the 5th season finale where Twilight was in this time loop thing and she was having problems with something like Glimmer. You know, when I said about the portal gone away in Friendship Games, well, I guess I pretty much understand that isn't the case. I really didn't understand. I didn't see this episode when I made that video. I really sorry if any of you guys think that I missed that part. I'm really sorry. Now I should get back to the rant that I talked about last month. You see, the reason why I have this connection between Human and Princess Twilight is because they're clones. And even if Princess Twilight didn't appear in Friendship Games, she has a reason that she wasn't evolved in this movie. I really wish there was some actually interesting development between two worlds, the pony world and the alternative world. Also, there was a scene in this movie and in Equestria Girls that has a scene where Pinkie Pie talks to Human and Princess Twilight about two clones of Human and Princess Twilight.
familiar. No, now that I'm really looking at you, do you have a twin sister who lives in the city, has a pet dog named Spike that looks just like that one? Maybe? I know. You look just like my friend. Her name is Twilight, too. That's weird.
Now, the reason why I didn't add those two scenes into my rant last month was because two reasons. One, I can only go up to 15 minutes, and secondly, I didn't think that scene was really that important. But the more I think about it, it was. You see, when Pinkie Pie talked to Princess and Human Twilight about a twin sister or her friend or something like similar, it was really kind of cool because it could be more foreshadowing to the fourth movie. But the fact that there's no information on if Princess Twilight is going to be in Legend of Everfree, then that's kind of a disappointment because in Rainbow Rocks, it did have foreshadowing in Friendship Games because I did show you about that there was a human Twilight at the end of Rainbow Rocks, and then in the next movie it did happen, either if Princess Twilight was in that movie or not, despite her problems in Ponyworld. Also, it's about Flash Century. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I talking about Flash Century? He's not important. Well, you see, in Equestria Girls and Rainbow Rocks, Twilight has a love interest in those movies, and that's Flash Century. And either if Flash Century was in the Pony World as well, Twilight has more interest in the human world in the Pony World, because at the end of Equestria Girls, all she ever did is just bump into each other again. Seriously, it's really becoming a theme where Twilight just keeps bumping into Flash Century every time in these movies. Sure, she did bump into him again in the beginning of the movie, but she probably had no interest in him at all. But now she really does. Also, in Friendship Games, when Human Twilight meets Flash Century, she has no interest in him at all. Now, you'll probably say, well, in time, she'll get into him and she'll fall in love with him. But the problem is, Flash Century didn't do anything much in Friendship Games. In the first movie, he did a little more in the plot. In the second movie, he's one of the enemies because of the counterspell or something. But in this movie, he didn't do anything at all. This is probably one of the problems in Friendship Games. Flash Century didn't do much in this movie, unlike the first two. It's really kind of another reason why I think that the Pony Twilight should be with this guy. Now, just so you know, I do not ship. Just for a heads up, I do not ship in this show. Now, let's take a look at Flash Century and Princess Twilight. You see, in the first movie, they have moments, and in this movie, they kind of have moments. But the reason why this pairing works is because, unlike the other Twilight when she's shy, she's brave. This Twilight is brave. And during this movie, when the Dazzlings are doing the counterspell on the people fighting because of the Battle of Bands thing, Flash Century just turns on Twilight because of the counterspell. When Twilight and Flash Century bumping each other again, Flash Century is furious at Twilight because of the counterspell. And when Twilight tries to be nice, Flash Century doesn't react or interact with her at all. This is why Rainbow Rocks is considered the best in the Equestria Girls, because it has music and it makes the characters go against each other because of the counterspell. And secondly, when Twilight feels bad for her and when she cries, that's the ultimate pairing between her and the Flash Century. You see, unlike Human Twilight, when she's lonely, Princess Twilight is more kind and more serious. And the Dazzlings, the villains of this movie, they were just trying to get the magic from the main six, and they really want to use that power to wherever they're gonna use it. I'm really sorry. I only know these girls' names. I know they're trying to be adored by people, but to be quite honest, I just literally don't care about what the next plan is. I'm really sorry for anyone who's a fan of these girls. But back to the Twilight and Princess Twilight thing. And when the main six, or shall I say main five, defeated the Dazzlings, Flash Sentry is completely interested in Twilight because of her performance. And this was after the locker room scene, not like after the locker room scene. I meant after that scene between these two interact. And I can understand that people may say, well, Flash Sentry is really not that much of an interesting character because of how he's getting executed lately. But at least he has a purpose. At least he has a purpose on why he's in these Equestria Girls movies, and should be a love interest in this Twilight, not Human Twilight, Princess Twilight. And there's another thing I need to talk about. It's about the relationship between Sunset Shimmer and Twilight. Now, not Human Twilight, Princess Twilight, because this is something I really think about after when I made the video.